This is everything I did in my home studio after my 9 to 5. I had some clay that I reclaimed that needed to be wedged, so I did that, and then I wrapped it up in plastic to let it marinate. I decided to use some older clay that's been sitting in my bucket and is about to dry out. I didn't even measure the clay, so I actually have no idea how many pounds this is, but what I do know is that it was really hard to center since it was so dry. I had to switch to coating up in small sections, and that actually worked pretty well. My plan for this was to make yet another sponge slash brush wand slash straw cleaner holder thingy. The last one wasn't the right size, so here I am trying to make sure that the brush wand would fit properly. I'm pretty happy with this. I really like how it looks and it feels very sturdy. So I cleaned it up, then wired it off, and then started on my next item. I love making closed forms. I feel like I'm not that good at it, but I really like the process of making it. One thing that's helped me a lot is actually coloring in every single time I pull up the walls so that it doesn't flare out too much. I wanted to experiment with the shape a little bit more since I feel like I always make the same gumdrop-like shape. So I spent a lot of time trying to shape the knob perfectly, and then I used the bottom of a chopstick to make the little indent for the flange. It still kind of turned out in that gumdrop-like shape, but I still think it's really cute. I was feeling really confident at this point, so I started working on my next item, which I didn't know what I was gonna make here. I was thinking like maybe a vase or a pitcher or something. So I pulled up the walls, and then once I got the right height, I was thinking, well, actually, maybe I'll try to make it into a moon jar. And then I clearly failed, and I added these little ripples to the bottom by accident. I decided to lean into it though, so I added these curves to the rims, and funny enough, I actually really like how this looks. Like, depending on how I glaze it, I think it could actually be a really pretty vase. Then I took a little dinner break, and I came back to work on this little jar. I wanted to make a jar to hold my honey. I kind of made the walls a little bit too thin, so I couldn't add a gallery, which sucks because now I have to add a flange to the lid that I was throwing, and I hate adding flanges. It's just a little too much measuring for me, but I think the lid turned out okay. So by 9 p.m. I made this sponge holder, 2 jars, one that's a closed form and one with the lid thrown separately, and this little funky abstract vase. Okay, bye.